In this video, we're going to work on all the basics that you need to know about the future value annuities formula. So if that's still brand new to you, then you're definitely in the right place. In grade 12, this is practically the first time that you're seeing this future value formula. Now, what you want to keep in mind is these variables. F is your future value. X will always be a monthly installment. I will always be your interest. N will always be the amount of times that interest is added. Now with these four variables, you want to keep in mind that depending on the kind of description that you're given for a particular question, I and N are always linked in a way, in the sense that if your investment is compounded monthly, semi-yearly, quarterly, daily, weekly, depending on your given description, we know that if your investment is compounded monthly, your value for I, we know that when you put that into your formula, you will always need to divide it by 100 times 12. If it's compounded semi-yearly or quarterly, you need to keep in mind that in the slot where I is in your formula, this is what you will need to put there. If it's compounded monthly, you need to say your interest over 100 times 12. Semi-yearly, it's the interest value that you're given over 100 times 2. If it's quarterly, it's the interest value that you're given over 100 times 4. That's what will happen to I. Now, what you want to keep in mind is, depending on your given description, it will also always affect your value for N. Now, your value for N will always be the amount of years that you are going to be investing that amount of money, multiplied by 12 if it's compounded monthly, multiplied by 2 if it's compounded semi-yearly, and then multiplied by 4 if it's compounded quarterly. So that's what you want to keep in mind. N will always be your years multiplied by one of these all the time. So if your interest is being compounded monthly, your value for N will be your years multiplied by 12. If it's semi-yearly, your N will be your years multiplied by 2. If it's quarterly, your value for N will be the years that you're going to be investing your money multiplied by 4. And obviously, it's not limited to these three. If you have daily, this value here is just a 365. If you have weekly, this value there is just 52. So with your future value annuities formula, this is basically what you need to know. F, future value, X is your monthly installments, I is your interest, and we mentioned that your value for I and your value for N, those are somewhat linked. Interest, we know that your amount will either be compounded monthly, semi-yearly, or quarterly. And you can see I'm repeating this because this is very important. Depending on what these are, where you see I in your formula, right, these two slots here, you will need to say your value for interest that you're given over 100 times 12. That's what you put over there where I is. If it's semi-yearly, where I is, you need to put I over 100 times 2. And if it's quarterly, you need to say I over 100 times 4 there in the slot where I is. So again, depending on what kinds of questions you're going to be dealing with, if you see that you keep getting the question wrong, but you seem to be putting in all your given information into your formula, just double check if you're applying these laws, right? The other one we said N will always be your years multiplied by the compound that they give you.